disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Welcome once again to another episode of Fist Kicks and Flicks, the podcast about martial arts movies and life. I am one of your hosts, Eugene Plowden, and with me as always, my podcast partner, Joe Hartley tonight.
What up?
If this is your first time with us, I want you to know we are members of the Martial Arts Internet Network. On Tuesdays, you got the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. Thursdays is us, Fist Kicks and Flicks with Gene, Joe, and Angel. And then we got the Extra Scoop
Once a month
once a month. And then we
with
also
Peyton
got the
Thunder.
traditional. There you go. And then we got the traditional way with Brett Shumway. I can't remember when he does the show. I think it's is it twice a month? Every other
I
Wednesday?
think it's every week. Isn't it
Is
every
it every
week?
week now? I can't
I'm
remember,
pretty
man.
sure it is. I'm pretty
I
sure
can't.
it's every week.
Well, you know what? If you're like me, what you need to do is just look for us on the Martial Arts Internet Network on all of our social media platforms. Just look for the Martial Arts Internet Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Joe, it is showtime. What is going on, man?
You know what? I mean, I've been busy, but it's just the same old daily grind. You know, a little bit of work, a little bit
hmm
of family. Um, just trying to keep everything together.
I know what else you've
We're
been
coming
doing.
up. What have I been doing?
You've been beating the family in Mario Kart ever since last week's conversation.
You know what? It's so funny. I know our phones are listening to us because that thing I sent y'all with that my wife sent me, with the guy and his kid's like, Dad, can I win?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah,
you see
yeah,
the dad and he's got the helmet on, and then he
yeah,
flicks the kid off and says, Nope.
yeah,
That I keep seeing that now. I'm like, I'm just in that algorithm. That was so funny.
yeah.
Yeah, my family, they were laughing about that. We had a good time about that one. And then I posted because I beat him. I beat everybody, including, see, the one that gets me is my wife.
hmm
Oh, she's more competitive than me, man, some days. And so I can't stand that because I'm like, but I found out like her dad used to do the same thing I do to my kids to her.
Okay.
So that's why, like, since I've known her, like I used to laugh because I used to say, you're a girl, right? And she'd be like, yeah. I'm like, well, if you like a dude, aren't you supposed to let him win every once in a while? She goes, not the way I grew up. I was like, okay, I kind of like that, but I don't like losing. So I don't know. I'm kind of stuck in the middle.
That's pretty funny. I only beat Champ once. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I've only beat him one time, and that was maybe about a month ago. Maybe about a month ago, and he turned right back around and just spanked me. Most of the time, most of the time he's always in first, second place, and I'm most of the time I'm almost dead last most times, or in the sixth spot or seventh, something like that. So
Some of those worlds, just like I get turned around and
yeah,
everyone's just, I'm like, what? Why am I going back? It's a mess. I'm
yeah,
like,
it's
oh
it's
man.
it's it's, it's, it's crazy, man. Like I was saying, man, it's the hand-eye coordination. Like over time, if you stop, that's it. But you know what? Honestly, to be totally honest, I really wasn't. Racing games was never really my thing as a kid. Every now and then I played at the arcade, but I never really bought racing car games as a kid for my Genesis or Nintendo or anything like that. I never really got into the racing games anyway. So
I was always like F-Zero was a big one, and then what was that? Franza, I
yeah,
think was a
yeah,
good
yeah.
one.
hmm
And I never did. I mean, I tried to do some of the NASCAR ones, but they were. Mm, I always liked the ones that had like a little extra to them.
What
And
is the
then
what's the
Mario
popular
Kart was always fun.
what is the popular game that everyone played up until recently? It was a real popular game.
Oh, Need for Speed.
It might not, and it wasn't Need for Speed. I don't think it was that one, but it's another one that was similar to that, and it always came out every year.
Franza.
Was it Franza? I don't know. I
Franza.
gotta look. So
There was a couple other,
when I
but
used to work,
those are the ones I played.
when I worked for PlayStation, they gave me they gave me a VR because I had to demonstrate the VR for people, right?
Yeah.
And they gave me a game with it. to keep, and it was a game. I have to look through my stuff and see if I can find it. But it felt so real. It felt like I was really in a race car. When you put that
Yes.
VR headset on and you look around, man, you feel like. And I played the game one time, and man, I got hit with vertigo because I mean it felt so real as I'm playing
Yes.
this game, and it was crazy,
That's
man.
how it
When
is
I
with
turned off, I was
the
like, wow,
Oculus. That's how it is with the Oculus.
yeah, yeah,
Like my
yeah,
son did that for hours, and I'm like, after an hour and a half, like I'm usually like, okay, I need to go give my eyes and my everything a rest, and he's over there
yeah.
charging it up for the next 2 hours that he's gonna play. And
Yeah, I
then
got
see, you ever see the videos? The people that put it on like their dad, and then the dad's like getting into it, and then all of a sudden he runs into a wall.
yeah,
I'm
I've
like,
seen that
man,
type
I'm
of
glad
stuff.
I'm not that dude. I mean, I've gotten close to that, but man, that's not
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. No, no,
Every
no.
time
So
I
what?
see those, I go, that could easily be me.
See, with PlayStation, they wanted us to keep people in place. Like you're not supposed to be running around with those things on.
You're really
Um,
not with it anyway.
no,
It's all meant to be that way, but people really get into it too much and they freak out and they don't know what's going on.
yeah, I had some family members that you may or may not know, Joe, who I put that thing on at family gatherings. It was funny when I first got hired by them. I brought it around the family, let them see, and I had everybody try it on, man. And there's a couple of people were freaking out on some of those games. It was funny. There may or may not be some recordings of it
Oh, nice.
on somebody
Save
on
those for a
someone's
rainy
older
day.
phone. Yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
But what
That's
what else
funny.
been up, man?
Oh, let's see. We did Greenfield Village the other day, and we like going there. And
Hmm.
my daughter enjoys like that time period, so
Hmm.
she's with her acting. They actually offer, they got jobs for sitting in those houses, dressing up, and telling people about the history.
Hmm.
So this was an event through Kids Kicking Cancer, and one of the girls that was handing out the tickets, I had just mentioned my daughter wanting to work here in the
Hmm.
future, and she's like, "Let me know. They have a summer program." So
Oh
she
wow.
said next year she can actually get into a summer program for her age to start learning and understanding, and talking about like working there maybe through college and stuff.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm glad I said, I get in trouble in my family because I talk too much. And we get this from my dad. It's, my son's got it. It's called the gift of gab.
Hmm.
And like, I just talk to people, man. I just like to talk to people and,
Hmm.
how's your day? What's going on? Maybe I give them some information that I'm not supposed to be telling everybody, whatever. I don't care. It is what
Yeah,
it is. I'm just a overshare sometimes.
yeah, I'm kind of like that also. And Melissa tells me all the time. She's because sometimes I forget I have a filter. So the way I am on the show is how I am in real life. And sometimes
Yeah.
Melissa will say like, "You say things that I think." That's that's what she says to me all the time, and I'll just say,
you know,
"What?" Like, I don't see nothing wrong with it. But Greenfield Village, man, I haven't been there in a long time. It's been
we like to
I had
go
to be a kid.
there a couple of times, but it was so hot and it was not a good place to be yesterday. Or yeah, yesterday. But I mean, we saw some of the stuff we like to see. We got some ice cream, had a good time, and then like I said, now she knows next year she can go there, and that'll be something she'll really enjoy, putting her skills to work and everything like that. So she'll like that. And then my middle one, she had her first marching band practice today, and Ava's just finishing out her driver's training. Now she has to do the road stuff. So she's
Okay.
going to start getting a little bit on the road. We're working with her on some parking and parking lots and stuff.
Hmm.
And then after she does that portion, she can take the written test and then, with that, get a permit and
Okay.
start working on it. What does she got to have? I think it's 100 hours daytime and like 15 to 20 nighttime, something like that.
See that type of stuff. I don't know because we didn't have to do that stuff when we
Yeah,
came up.
that was literally like right, like I just made the cut on all that. And
Okay.
I waited till I was 18 to get my license. So
Okay. All
just
right.
Honestly, I think my parents were in no rush, and then
Well, kids nowadays definitely aren't in a rush, especially because a lot of people, they will Uber somewhere or take a Lyft somewhere,
yeah,
which is cool, which is cool. I get it.
she'll definitely benefit from having her license, just for school, because she both kids will be doing after school projects. So if she's driving and she can, not have to rely on us all the time, she
Mhm.
could come home. If she gets out early, that's the thing. Like right now, most of these after school things she's doing, they're required to turn her phone off. So
Yeah.
then, like, if they're running late or they're out early, I don't know. So I'm waiting and I'm not able to get a hold of someone. It'd be a lot easier for her to just say, okay, Layla, I'm going to be over here in the car. Come when you're done, meet me in the car and we'll just go home. And
Hmm.
then call me, let me know what you're doing. So, keep me in the loop. It would make her life a little easier. It also means I got to work on the insurance and getting her a car, which is not a fun thing to think about.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely understand that.
But that comes with life. I mean, I drove my parents' car for the first like year and a half, almost 2 years, to and from work. And then when I had the money saved up, I went and got my own, first
Okay.
car. So I keep telling her, I'm like, it all depends on, if you're working, you're helping out. My parents, they had two kids to worry about. So getting two cars and insurance and all that stuff is not a fun situation. So
Yeah.
she
I
just has
get it.
to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's just part of life.
Yeah.
Other than that, man, just working on we've been doing a lot with the house, cleaning up here. My wife's got projects everywhere. We're working on the deck now. She wants to refinish the deck and she wants to put a fence kind of up around the yard so we can have a little more privacy and even let the dog out in the back,
Hmm.
let him run around. So, because up front, we're he won't run towards the road because we got
Hmm.
the main road like 20 feet away from the house
Hmm.
and to come into the neighborhood. But if he just could run around in the back and hang out with us when we're back there, otherwise I got to put him on a zip, and he doesn't. He doesn't like to be contained. He just wants to chill.
What about, one of those invisible fences?
My wife won't let me do that. I would have done that a long time ago.
Why not? Like
I will.
that stops him from going on so far, right?
Yeah, and you got to. But I think he's too old for that. He's almost 13. No,
Okay.
he is
All right.
13. Yeah, he's turned 13 this month. There's a nice family with a big open yard in the
Hmm.
neighborhood, and they got a Doberman. I remember the
Hmm.
first time I seen this dog running around when I'm driving my car. I'm like, oh crap, he's gonna run into my car. And then all of a sudden he stops at the end of the thing, and then he just looks at me. He's running around the yard. I'm like, oh, and it took me like a couple of times to realize like, oh, this dog has a fence because he
Yeah.
don't leave that yard, and he's out a lot by himself. And even
Mm.
when we walk by with the dog, he don't cross that fence.
Okay.
So I mean, it must work pretty well.
Yeah, I've never seen them. I just know about them.
And I never priced them out either because you got to run that around the whole area
Hmm.
of where you don't want them to, and then you
Hmm.
got to train him on it. That's the thing. I think he's beyond being trained on that. He'd probably just
Mm.
be like, oh, and then he'll never leave the yard again. He'd
I
be like,
got you.
I'm not even going outside. There's things that shock me outside, Dad. What are you
Yeah.
doing? I'm gonna stay inside now.
Yeah.
What you been up to, man?
Well, first, let me tell everyone that Angel, of course, is not going to be with us tonight. He is actually doing a play. He's at the Stratford Community Center, and he is actually playing Stuart Little. So that's what Angel is up to. So he'll tell us all about that next week
That's
when
a
he gets
perfect
back.
role for him. Yeah.
But other than that, man, I got back from the honeymoon. We did the honeymoon last week, so
Oh
me
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
yeah, me and Melissa, we went down to Florida, and we got to hang out with the director a little bit. Saw Trav down at the condo, my parents' condo. He was down there working, doing some stuff. Work. He was actually doing work, and then he was working on the website, and he was telling me what he was doing with the website. So he got some stuff coming, a new app, for the Martial Arts Center Network and some other stuff. So
Yeah, I'm excited
yeah,
about that.
yeah. And he was showing me some stuff and explaining some stuff to me. So it's gonna be pretty slick. It's gonna be pretty slick. And then we spent the fourth with my family. Um, and then we shot down to Miami and we stayed at this hotel called the Mondrian. It was really, really nice. Really, really nice.
Okay.
Expensive. Oh shit, very expensive, but it was really nice. As soon as we got there, we walked in. They gave me and Melissa glasses of champagne, and that
Ooh,
champagne wasn't the cheap stuff either. Like that was
really?
some, yeah, man. Because I'm drinking
All
it, and
right.
Mel, she tells me like to go a little slow with it, and I do. I'm sipping on it a little bit, but then it's like, okay, let's go out. Let's go out and walk around and everything. So I down it, and we're still talking a little bit in the room. Did you see my room? I posted the room on social media.
I did.
Um,
Yeah.
so that was pretty slick. So then I stood up because I was sitting on the couch, and when I stood up, that drink hit me. And it's not like I had more than one, and I didn't have any shots. And we just had just that champagne, and we had got tipsy off just one glass. And I was like, oh shit, like this stuff is strong, strong.
Wait, wait, wait. So guess what? I
Yeah.
did the same thing on Saturday. My
Wait,
my my mother-in-law, her husband likes to make drinks, and
uh-huh.
one of my favorite that he makes is the mai tai.
Okay.
And he gave me the first one, and I told my wife, I was like, "Oh, this one's strong." He must have knew, like, I had a nice long week,
Hmm.
so I drank it, and he's like, "You want another one, or you want some water or something?" So I went up, I had a glass of water, and I said, "You know what? I could use another one. That'd be good." He goes, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yep." Man, that one almost put me on my butt before dinner. I had a couple more glasses of water. My wife's like, "Feeling good?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so it was so bad. He said he called my wife the next day and said, "Joe, okay?" She's like, "Yeah, he's at work." He didn't say nothing. He's like, "Man, I could respect a man that could drink two of my mai tais and still go to work."
Yeah, man. So we walked around down. We stayed in Miami, but it was South Beach. So we were in South
Okay.
Beach, and then we went downtown Miami the next day. So we just all over the area, went to the beach and everything. We had a good time, man. I did a lot of shopping. I've been doing a lot of shopping over the last couple of weeks, man. And I normally don't do a lot of shopping. I mean, think about it, man. I wear the same stuff over and over. I wear my work clothes during the day, and
Yep.
in the evening I put on my karate uniform to go teach. And then when I come home, I'll throw on some lounge wear just to lounge around the house in. So there's really not a need for me to do a lot of shopping. You know, I mean, that's Monday through Friday, pretty much the same thing. Work, teaching, home, chilling, that whatever. And on Saturdays, every now and then, me and Mel will go out, but we don't go out first thing in the morning or in the afternoon or anything like that. A lot of times it'll be like later in the afternoon if we decide to go out somewhere. So that then I'll put on some clothes, but I've already have enough clothes to wear. So it's not like I need
Yeah.
to buy something new for it. And then Sundays is normally family day, so I don't need to get dressed up for that. So I don't, I wear a lot of the same stuff over and over and over. I'm wearing a karate shirt, a black belt club shirt, something related to, what we
But
do
that's
all the time.
promoting as well.
Exactly,
Because
exactly,
if you're out and
exactly.
about and someone says, "I like that shirt. I've never seen that before. Where'd you get it?" My brand, bro. Let me tell you. Go
Exactly.
over here and
That's
check it out.
That's one thing. You know what? Also, and I wear my Christ. So like right now, I just got done teaching classes tonight. I had the T-shirt on. Of course, I'm gonna leave it on. And
Good.
I got a new student because of that. Not tonight. Well, actually, a couple weeks ago, I was at the gas station and the lady, she saw my jacket I had on and was promoting the school or whatever. And she asked for a card. Happened to have the cards. I forgot all about this interaction. She showed up at the school tonight
Nice.
and yeah, and I was like, I didn't remember her and recognize her or anything. And she told me, she's like, oh yeah, she's like, you saw me at the gas station, I asked for your card. I was like, oh wow, I forgot all about that. Yeah, okay, cool. So, I got a new student. So of course I wear my stuff all the time because that
Yeah,
happens,
man, you got
pretty
to.
frequently, you know. But back to Miami, man, we had a good time. And I did a lot of drinking. I'm not a big drinker, and even Melissa said she was like, "We have not been drinking enough water this trip. We were always drinking something, and I
Gene,
spent a lot.
at
I
our
spent a lot of
age,
money.
you gotta drink some water in between.
Yeah, I know, man. I know, I
You
do,
got
man.
to.
I know. But I spent a lot of money on drinks and Ubering because we we Uber damn near everywhere. Because I didn't want to take the car because Trav, number one, Trav was down there too,
Yeah.
and he'll drive, and I don't like driving in South Florida. Man, people down there are so impatient. They drive fast or they just drive weird. They just drive crazy. It's not like driving up here. As
Yeah.
soon as that light turns green, somebody is honking a horn at you. It's like, damn, the light just turned and then they're honking the horn, you know? So I'm not a fan of driving down there. But I tell you what though, Joe, I have a new appreciation. You said it was hot yesterday.
Oh, I
Man,
know. I seen
it
y'all.
felt good to me when I
Yep.
was here yesterday because down there that was a different type of heat down, and I haven't been to Florida in the summertime since I was a kid. We used to go down there for about a month in between July and August. We used to go, me and Travis and my mom, we would go every year. And so I haven't been since I was a kid. So any other time as an adult, only time I've been down there is typically during Christmas time. So it feels comfortable. It's nice down there. It's hot, but it's not
Yeah.
blazing hot. No, man, this was a different type of heat. I've never felt the sun like that in my adult. I'm looking at people like, what type of skin do you have to be living down
Everyone,
here
everyone's
dealing with
always like,
this?
"Oh, it's a dry heat." I'm like, "Okay, what does
No,
that
no,
mean?"
it's
Because
not.
it's
It's
hot.
humid. It
It's
is humid.
hot. It's
Yeah.
gross.
So when I came back up here, me and Mel, we were like, "Oh, this feels good now." But a couple of weeks ago, we were complaining about the heat up here.
I know,
No,
right?
no, 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 no. We also went out to West Palm Beach too because my cousin, to see him and his wife and kids. They had a house out there, and that was good time out there spending time with them because I definitely don't get to see my cousin Mark as much either. So we had a good trip and then we came back and we've been tired. Um, our flight was at 6 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning, 6 a.m. So we
Really?
left out to go to the airport at 4. So we didn't really sleep. By the time we got back to the condo from West Palm Beach was about midnight. And I was like, well, there's no need of even playing with trying to go to sleep because we're gonna have to get up in about 2 or 3 hours to start getting ready. Luckily, we were already packed, had our stuff already ready to go. We were good. But I let Mel sleep for a little bit. She slept for a couple hours, but I pretty much stayed up. I might have dozed off maybe about 10 or 15 minutes. Then it was time to get up at like 3 o'clock, 3:30 and order the Uber and everything, and then go, back to the airport and everything. So I couldn't sleep on the plane. So when I got home, I said, you know what? I am going to be tired tonight. So I should start watching this movie now. It didn't work. Yeah, I got 20 minutes in and it passed out. So then I watched this movie 3 times or tried to watch it 3 times. I
Oh
tried to
man.
watch it later on at night and I couldn't watch it. That's why I had text you. I was like, "Hey, I need another day." I just could not finish that movie by Tuesday. So I needed more time. That's why Angel is not on tonight. Angel had to go somewhere because he was busy tonight and he wasn't able to make it on. So yeah, I just couldn't do it. But other than that, man, our trip was good. We had a good time. This week is testing. I got my students are testing for their black belts, and we got some other kids being promoted this week. So it was a busy week this week. So I'm getting the belts in order. I'm getting um the certificates in order, and just ready for Saturday, man, to get these kids black
You
belts
know
and junior
what?
black belts.
I've never talked to anybody like with a new school like you,
Hmm.
and like I feel like that's like the first big achievement is getting your first round of black belts. Like that has to be. I mean, I'm everything is in stages. Probably feels
Hmm.
good getting the school up, getting it
Hmm.
painted, and putting the mats and all that. Getting your students. But that first group of black belts, man, like
Hmm.
that has to be like a really awesome and amazing achievement.
It is,
And then
man.
to
But
go from there, like the sky's the limit.
yeah, and also I'm excited about it, but also they feel good also because they remember what it was like when we started. When this class, so I have 5 students who made it here, but when they started, it wasn't 5. It was 20
Hmm.
students in that first class with them, and all
Yep.
15 other kids fell off. Well, pretty much
Yeah.
15 other kids fell off. And they're the
And I'm sure
last
that
ones
happens
that
a
that,
lot.
that made it. Yeah, a lot. You know, so
You
they
know,
take
I
pride
just
in that
remember
also.
you got to, because I remember when I first started and like we had, everything like that, and people would leave and then they would come back like a year later, and like, I would, everybody would be over here and they'd be like, "Oh, what happened?" Like
Hmm.
everyone was supposed to take off because they left. And I'm like, "No,
Hmm.
man, we're still here putting in the grind." And it's like, and then they come back and now they're trying to catch up.
Hmm. Yeah.
When you take the time off like that, it's not, it's hard to get back into it.
Yeah, it is. So it's gonna be interesting to see how many of them stick with it and stick around. I kind of have an idea. They're always insulted. Like I have 2 girls who are the oldest of all the kids, and I definitely don't think they're gonna stick around. I'll be surprised. They always tell me they are. But
Yeah.
one of them is going toward her senior year in high school, and she also is a cheerleader, and she also just started working at Tropical Smoothie, and like she got a lot on her plate.
Yeah,
So
that is a lot.
I don't expect, but she always tells me, Mr. Potter, I'm not going nowhere. I want to keep training. And I said, okay, fine. Um, and then the other one, she is in ROTC and she also plays softball.
Oh wow.
And yeah,
That's
so
gonna be a lot.
and both of those 2 girls, they are excellent teachers. So I would love if those 2 could stick around, but I highly doubt it. And like I said, they're the
You
oldest.
know, my brother and I's first big challenge of being faced with the possibility of taking a little time off, and because I mean, like for us, I was probably at the gym, the karate gym, for 6 out of 7 days,
Hmm.
most
Oh,
of the
I know I
time.
was. Yeah, I
It
know I
was
was.
definitely 5. Like I was there 5 days a week, no problem, and
Hmm.
it was mostly 6, and if then tournaments every weekend.
Hmm.
So like we had that was our thing for probably since I was 13,
Hmm.
14, and then all the way up till, for a while in my mid 20s. But like that first year I started wrestling, we did both. And it was hard
Hmm.
because wrestling practice was 4 hours. Then it was literally go home, have dinner, and then 3 hours at the dojo, and then come back home, wash up, go to bed. That's a
Hmm.
lot for a high
Hmm.
schooler.
Hmm.
And then I still had to do my homework, which I sucked at because I hate homework. And most that wasn't a problem, although it was because like a lot of times I was doing my homework on the bus because I hated homework.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm at home, man. I want to do stuff at home. I don't want to do do schoolwork.
Right.
Don't be like me though, because that it was not a good
Man,
decision. I skated by on most of my stuff like that.
but now, man, Joe, it's so much. These kids don't even realize how. I know I sound old saying this, but these kids don't realize how good they got it. Like they can literally. There is the internet. If they have a
Yes.
problem that they can't
Are
answer,
you
they can just
serious? My
Google.
kids are doing math asking Alexa, do this, what's this time? They don't even teach timetables anymore.
No,
I could
no.
still do my, they drilled the timetable so hard
Hmm.
that I could still do 1 through 12 timetables, no problem, off the top of my head.
Wow.
I beat the machine to it. My kids will ask it, and I'm telling them, and they go, "Oh, you're right, Dad." I'm like, "Of course I'm right. This was beat into my head for like 6 years of my life." From like first grade to seventh grade, you were doing times tables, and you were trying to fill out as many as you could, and you that I'm not. That's no joke. They don't even do that no more. We
No,
were doing
they don't.
flashcards.
Yep.
I'm like, that's
Yeah.
crazy to me
Yeah. Yeah. All that's
because I
gone
use
now.
it. I use it every day.
Hmm.
But then they got to teach this algebra
Yeah,
that
this weird. It's
makes
it's
no
weird
sense to
stuff. It's
me.
not even. I'm not even saying it's algebra. It's real weird the math that they're doing now. And when it comes to reports, they got to do it in some type of weird type of format. And it's like, goodness gracious, why? What is this doing? What is this doing? It doesn't even make sense to me.
Somebody
I know
somewhere
Angel probably
decided
should
this
be on
is
here
the
for
way
that.
to do it.
Angel should be
Yeah.
on here for that because I know he could break it down and make sense if he knows why the reason
No, I
why. I
don't
mean,
think. I think he agreed with us. Like he would just had to do it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So
Honestly.
hmm So yeah, man. So I finally got through the movie, man, and let's get into it now, man. Let's talk about this movie, Monkey Man. What did you think about this movie, man? It came out in 2024, so
Uh,
it's a newer movie. I'm gonna try not to spoil it,
no, I'm
but
not.
we'll see
I'll
what happens.
read the synopsis. There's not really much to spoil. It's a pretty straightforward movie, but I'm gonna tell you, I could give 2 grades to this movie. One for the action, and one for the storytelling. And the
Okay.
storytelling is not going to be a good grade. The action will be just fine. Well, so this movie, like I don't know if I just have to go watch it again, but then I'm looking at this director, and this is what this director does.
Okay.
This Dev Attell
Okay.
and Jordan Peele, I guess, helped him out on it.
He
So
did. Oh wow,
I guess
really?
yeah, Jordan Peele was like a producer or assistant director or something like
I
that.
didn't even look at the credits to see that. Okay.
No, I was reading about it because
Oh,
this
okay.
movie this movie messed me up. The storytelling, because the storytelling should be straightforward, but it was almost like it
Yes.
was being told. It was almost like they were telling it backwards.
Yes. Man, I'm so glad you said that because I looked at it like because I was confused. So, like I said, I had to watch it 3 times, and it didn't help that
Yeah,
I fell asleep on it. But if it would have been interesting, I think I probably would have watched it better. But imagine for those of you who are listening to us, imagine watching Captain America: Civil War, and imagine that is the first Captain America movie
yeah,
and they're showing flashbacks of the previous 2 movies, but you don't
yeah,
know what these flashbacks are
yes,
about because they're real quick and they don't explain anything. And they're talking in English. Number one, this is they're in India. I'm believing because they're talking Hindu. They,
yeah. They're talking Hindu, Muslim. They're
yes,
making jokes about Christianity, so
yes.
that's
But
it's a lot of that.
an issue that I was having is some of the movie they're speaking in English and then they'll just start speaking in Hindu.
Yeah,
I had the subtitles on anyway because the accents were a little heavy anyway, and they talk a little faster than I'm used to. So I had it on anyway, but it was still confusing when all of a sudden they just go to a flashback, and I'm like, wait a minute, is this happening now, or is this something that happened before? Because I didn't like how it was produced. I did not like how this movie was put together. It didn't
yeah.
make sense.
I think they got a little too cute because it really is a straightforward movie. It's a revenge movie.
Yes,
He
it
is
should be. It should
looking
have been.
Yeah, he's looking for the person that killed his mom. And I
hmm
guess the thing that they kept doing is, like you said, they kept doing flashbacks. Um, there's so much going on in this movie because the movie starts out, it's his mom telling him a story about the Monkey Man.
hmm
Okay, so I think that's going to be relevant later. Then it goes into him. He's in like an underground fight scene, and he wears a
Mm-mm,
monkey mask. That's his thing.
hold on. Before we get to that, I don't even want to give that part a lot of credit.
I
That
know, but it's. I'm saying you go into the story, and then there's a guy in a monkey man thing, and I didn't even know if this was an underground fight scene. I thought this was wrestling at first. I thought this was
it I think it was. It
no.
was
It's an underground fight scene. It says it
no,
in the
but
synopsis of the movie.
no, fuck that synopsis because that synopsis is so basically, yes, you're right. It seemed like wrestling. So basically, what it was it's an
It felt
underground
like
fight
wrestling to
scene.
me.
Yes, it was because it was an underground fight scene that was choreographed. The owner, who was the ring announcer, he was putting this everything together in the back, and he would say who was going to win or lose. So imagine the UFC
Oh
and
yeah, you're right.
Dana White is telling everyone who is going to win this particular match. That's what he was. That's what this was. So this really wasn't a real fight, even though these people were getting hit for real. They were
Oh yeah,
punching for real. And I guess they get some type of bonus if you bleed because he was mad that he didn't get an extra bonus when they made him bleed. And he was a little bit mad
yeah.
about that. So it wasn't a true fight, at all. And that made me as I recognized that I said, wait a minute, what is this really a martial art movie? This is what I had to start questioning because nothing about this movie was martial art centric until we get closer to the end and we see him training and he's doing some training. But they never said how he got trained. he just knew martial arts all of a sudden. Now this guy had been an orphan since he was a little kid, but they never
Mhm.
explained what happened after someone murdered his mom. They never explained any of that. He
But it was not the part about his mom wasn't even explained. You kind of picked up on it when he went after this guy, but like
yeah, at the
we
end,
didn't even
at
know
the
who this
end.
guy was. We didn't know who this
Nope,
guy was.
nope.
All of a sudden, he's looking for a gun. He's getting a part of this
He
the
just doing
underground club
stuff.
where he's becoming a waiter
Hmm.
and selling coke and like
Yep.
all this stuff is happening, but you don't know why.
You
There's
don't.
no rhyme or reason behind it. It's just out of the blue. Like he's
And during
fighting,
all it,
and then
yeah,
he's doing this. Then he wants a gun, and then he's gonna go. And you're like, why does he want to kill this guy? He doesn't say.
and then
And then
there's some
it's
weird
just this all
flashback.
yeah, and I thought at one point I thought he wanted to kill that girl because he got real weird when he met that
Mhm.
girl for the first time, who was somehow a part of everything. And
But
I
did
thought
they?
he was getting the gun for her, and all of a sudden
Yeah,
he's pointing at this other guy who I don't even know who this guy is.
yeah. I
And
thought
I'm
the
like,
girl might have been
what?
his sister. I was like, is this his sister or is this his mom? Is she just looks different? Because he was staring at her and he would look really, really weird the way he was looking at her. Especially when they were in the club or whatever, and she's sitting there getting felt up, and he's sitting there watching this, and it seemed like that was a family member or a relative or something. It
Yeah,
came
it
out
was
that she was just
odd.
nothing. She was nobody to him.
Like I said, there was a lot of ideas I think that were put together in this movie, and it was like half thought.
Yeah,
It was like,
I
okay, I have this idea, but then let's go over here. It was just like, do I have to have ADD to watch this movie or what?
yeah, the editing and and how they put this together just didn't make sense to me. And you got to have patience if you decide to watch if you decide to watch this movie because
Well, and
you
then
probably want to listen to us first before you decide to watch it.
honestly, the critics gave it a high rating. The people gave it
Oh,
a high rating, but there were a lot of ups and downs when I actually went through to read some of the ratings. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it was great action and great this," and then a lot of people were like, "No, this movie was this." I mean, a lot of people felt the same way as us, where okay, I can watch a movie that has good action, but it needs to kind of follow the good story as well.
hmm,
And if your movie's all supposed to be based on the high octane action, then why don't we just keep going with that? I feel
hmm.
like there was a half hour at the beginning of the movie that made no sense. Why not throw a fight scene in there?
Oh, they
We
did.
didn't get a
Remember?
good we didn't get no just the stupid in the ring,
Yeah, yeah. That's
but
it.
that was
Yeah, that's it.
that lasted 2 minutes and it was dumb.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you would have gave me like a nice fight scene within the first half hour that was actually somewhat decent, like you did at the end,
Hmm,
I I would have been happier with at least the action. But
hmm.
and then then the story is just all over the place.
Yeah.
And again, we picked it up, but I had to literally go online and read some stuff just to understand like what I actually saw because it was just confusing. It got really
That's funny.
confusing to me. Yeah, because
That's
I'm just
funny.
like, okay, I think I get it. But then I feel like they almost were trying to make him a symbol for the country because then they started getting real political. And I didn't understand why are we getting political? What does this guy have to do with the political end of it?
I don't know. I don't.
And they almost they made him like he was out to be a symbol
hmm.
of like revolution or something like that. But who was rebelling? I never saw him. He had one friend, and that friend pretty much was terrible. That
Are
friend got him in the most trouble.
you talking about the drug dealer guy?
Yeah, I don't even think it was his friend. I just thought that
Oh, yeah, right.
he was
Exactly.
decent to him, but it didn't last long.
No, no. And that was stupid too. Remember when we kind of found skip it, I'm gonna say it. Okay, so remember when he was in the bathroom and all of a sudden he pulls this gun out.
Yes.
He's gonna shoot someone. Why did it take so long for him to shoot the guy, number one? And then it was messing with my anxiety because he ended up dropping the gun and he kept
Yep.
trying to get the gun and something would happen and it would fly out his hand or somebody would kick it out of his hand. The other guy who
It
came out
fell
the
in a
stall,
toilet. It
yeah,
fell in a dirty toilet at one point and he pulled it
and
out.
he reached in and pulled it out. Like you can't. Number one, the gun is not going to go down. It's not going to go down the toilet. So that was stupid. I mean, that had to be a very very big hole for a gun to go down in order for him to
Yes.
pull it out. But there was another
It's not
guy
gonna
in
fit
there
into those
also.
pipes anyway. Yeah.
That guy should have been dead or hurt or something. But that guy kept getting up. The guy that was in the stall that came out because he
Yeah.
got shot a couple times. He got hit, and I was like, well, how is this guy even still fighting? Like he should be done himself. And that wasn't even the main target in the bathroom. But anyway, when he came out of the bathroom, when he was running away, and his so-called friend was outside with the bad guys, right? His friend, his friend said, "Wait for me," or something like that, and then he ran and jumped in the car. Everybody else should have caught up to them because the bad
Yes.
guys were standing there with his friend. His
Yep.
friend should have, his friend automatically should have become a target himself, also right then and there, because he brought that guy to the club and introduced him to everyone, and it's kind
They
of his
already
fault.
were. They were already treating that guy like a joke anyway, and he was probably going to be dead no matter what.
Yeah, but they should have. I mean, he definitely should have got taken care of right then and there. Like he
Yeah.
shouldn't have been able to even run up and jump into the car with them.
No.
They should have got him before that.
Okay, but you know the best line of the whole movie
What's that?
when his friend he told him his car's name.
Oh, Nikki.
He said he called the car Nikki, and the dude
Yeah,
was like, "What? Why Nikki?" He said, "Nicki Minaj, man. She got a
yeah,
big bumper and some nice headlights."
yes, yes. That did make me chuckle when he said that. But if you
I
see
said,
the
"Who came up
car,
with that?"
the
I know,
car looked
right?
ridiculous. The car looks ridiculous.
That was an insult to Miss Nicki Minaj. Oh my god.
Yes, because the car looked like it was supposed to be a mix between a car and a van almost, or it looked really really weird, and it was small. It wasn't a big car. It was
No.
really really small, and it looked like it might have just been just a two-seater or something. Like somebody sitting in the front and somebody sitting in the back end, and that was it. You know what it looked like? You know those old toys that are red with the yellow with the yellow
Yep.
hood.
Yes,
That's what it
exactly
looked
what it
like.
looked like.
That's what it
That's
looked
what
like.
that's what it was probably designed after.
Yeah. So one person can sit in the front, and it might have been big enough for somebody to sit in the back. And then, of course, it might have been a little bit taller because we're adults and not little kids. But that's what the car kind of looked like. It was a small vehicle like that, but it supposedly drove fast as hell because they're speeding through the city. It was a little ridiculous. It was very ridiculous. And
Yeah,
then
I mean,
he's fighting these guys at some point in time, and he's getting absolutely destroyed. So I'm like,
yes.
this, he's getting shot, and I'm like, how is he still fighting? How is he still running? He got shot in the leg. He shouldn't have been able to run
Yep.
anymore, but he was still
No.
running. He was still
And
running.
well, not only that, but then on top of all that, he's having like a really bad day. He almost died 10 times. And
Hmm.
then out of nowhere, like he blacks out and then he wakes up in this random
I hated that
house.
part. I hated that part. You know
And then
why?
I thought I missed something. I rewound it. I was like, did I miss something?
No, because
All of a sudden,
they went to a flashback, right? Because
yeah,
he fell into the water, and then we
yes,
flashing back. But they don't tell us we're flashing back, so I didn't know what was happening. And because we see him sinking down into the water, right? Now, Joe, I don't know about you, but I don't think I will ever pull a body out of the water if I see a body floating in the water. But supposedly that's what
I mean,
happened in this
unless it's
movie.
somebody I know,
Yeah, but these people didn't know him. So he
they,
so he
they
gets
act like they
found.
knew him.
Yeah, he gets found by this tribe of people who live on the outskirts away from everyone else. How did they even find his body? Because I thought that those people stayed away from everyone else. He was shot in the city area and fell in the
Yeah,
water. Like, what were they doing out fishing? Like, how did they even find his body? And if his
I was
body
wondering the
is in the
same thing.
water, he should have drowned because
Yes,
last we saw before that flashback, he was just sinking, and the next thing you know, like you said, he wakes up in a house. Matter of fact, they do the flashback, but also they show him getting killed by these people. They're taking the bullet out of him because he's screaming, and I don't know. It's just a weird montage of stuff they're showing us that did not make any sense at all. And then he wakes
Yep.
up in this house.
And then he gets the Black Panther treatment.
Pretty much,
That's
yeah,
literally what I said because I was like,
yeah,
I'm like, okay, are we? When that guy showed that thing, I was like, was this Black Panther?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And even
So
though whatever that was, I mean, tripping or whatever he was doing, I didn't think he was that much more impressive.
no. And then at this part, I'm thinking, okay, these people, okay, must be where the martial arts part comes into because leading up to this part, it was just fights. There was nothing that seemed martial arts related up until this point.
Yeah.
And then, he starts training himself. I thought, okay, there's supposed to be some elder person who's going to come out and start training him and teaching him some new move or give him some new magic or some power or something. That doesn't happen. He just trains himself. But he's not. I mean, he's throwing a couple punches and he does a couple kicks, and I'm like, okay, so does this make this movie a martial arts movie because he's throwing some punches and kicks on a punching bag, but he's not being trained by anybody. There's some old man there though who's playing the drums for him while
Yep.
he's training, and he's kind of training him as he's hitting. Like, so he'll hit the drum a particular way, and he wants him to punch a particular way. When he hits the drum this way, when he hits it another way, you got to do another punch. And the man doesn't open his mouth and use his words. He just hits the drum until the guy just starts knowing what to do. I don't
The
know,
knife
man.
fight after that was pretty decent. I liked the knife fight. They were kind of showing it from both sides. They were showing it from like uh, you know, first and second perspective. So I thought that was kind of cool. But other than that, the last quote unquote fight scene to me with the guy that he was basically looking to kill the whole time was just decent. I mean, it was okay. But then there was a twist at the end. I won't ruin it for everyone, but that one confused me too. I had to look that
That
up.
that didn't make any sense because I didn't see that coming. Like the whole time, I'm thinking like he's after this one guy, and then there's something else. There's someone else.
Well, that's where the political part of it came in. Like I
Yeah.
said, I looked it up because I didn't even know that dude's name.
No, I
Apparently,
don't.
the name was
I don't know anybody's name. I don't.
uh, the
I
the guy
don't
that
know
killed his
anybody's
mom. The
name.
guy that killed his mom was Manga or Manda,
Okay.
and then the other guy, the whole leader supposedly is Baba
Oh, and then we got Queenie, who
Queenie.
I
Yeah,
I don't think she should have died. Didn't she just get hit in the head with a pan or something? I mean,
I
as much
guess I
crap
don't
as
know.
was going on, I didn't think that she should have died. Now, this is the part of the movie where it seemed like they leaned into like they were fans of John Wick because it seemed like he got dressed up and kind of was just fighting all of these people, and it seemed like a bootleg John Wick movie at this point.
That is what I called it.
Oh,
I,
you
s- I said bootleg John Wick. That's literally what I said.
that's what it
Oh
seemed
my
like. I was
god,
like,
it did. It was 100% bootleg John Wick.
yeah. And
Oh,
he's fighting all of these people, and I'm thinking like he should already be on the verge of death because he's 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 getting beat up. He's getting beat up bad. He's getting beat up a lot.
mhm.
And then all of these people, the tribal people, they come to help him, and that kind of evened it up. John Wick did not have help like that.
Not like that.
No, not
I
like
mean,
that.
shoot, when he got help from Holly Berry's character, like he had
Right,
to like invoke her help, and she
right,
was pissed about it and bitching about it the whole time.
right, right. So I don't know. So he gets through, and he finally, when he did the final scene, like what did you think about how he ended his fight with the main target, the main person that he was going after? What did you think about that? That was different.
Yeah, it was good. I
I'm
mean, it
not
was
saying I
different.
liked it or not. It was just different.
No, no, no. It just to me like when you think of the boss fight, you think of like you
Back and
need
forth.
something spectacular.
Hmm.
I did like when he went back to. I will say we forgot to when he went back to the club and he was in the ring and he was back where he
Oh
was supposed to
yeah,
be losing. He
yeah,
messed
that
some
was funny.
people up.
That
And the
was
guy
funny.
that was calling it was looking like, what the hell? Because he was
Yeah,
probably losing money.
he did lose money.
And I don't know who the little kid was that put the money on the monkey man.
Well, I think he gave. I think that was for him. Like he gave the money, his own money, to the little kid to put the money on
Oh yeah, yeah.
himself. Yeah,
Either way, that was funny
yeah.
because
The
I was
King
like,
Cobra guy
oh,
runs out, and that fight was over in literally 1 second because he just gets kicked in the face and he's laid out. Then he sends
and he came back was like, what is? He was like, okay then.
that was pretty funny. That was pretty. I think that this might have been the best part of the movie because the crowd was shocked because King Cobra hadn't lost anything. He's been
No,
dominating, and they never seen the monkey. Anytime the monkey man, he's always gotten beaten up in that ring. So this time when the monkey man comes back and just destroys King Cobra, the crowd they don't know what to do because now it's
no, they
not.
were freaking out.
It's yeah, because now it's not choreographed. And King Cobra thought it was still choreographed, but the Monkey Man he had other plans. He's like, I'm not laying down this time. I'm just gonna
He
lay
had
you
enough of
out.
that.
Boom. Yeah, he knocks him out. They send another guy in. He takes him out too real quick. So he made a lot of money for himself, but then he doesn't keep the money. He gives it
No,
away. He gives it away.
of course he does. I mean, this movie wasn't trash, but it wasn't. A couple of people told me to watch this movie, and I guess I just saw it different than they did. That's all.
Yeah, you know what, man? Because I was debating how I wanted to grade the movie. And two movies I kept thinking about.
What's that?
Karate Christmas Miracle and Double Dragon and Street Fighter. Well, three movies. All three of those movies I can't. This was better than those.
Yes.
Honestly, yes, because the story in those movies just were ridiculous, especially a Karate Christmas Miracle. But at the same time, I think what helped this movie might have been the fight scenes because I don't have any
Yes.
problem with the fight scenes. They were pretty good fight scenes.
Yeah, I like the fight scenes.
Yeah, and I think that's what saved this movie from being down at the bottom like those movies.
I agree. I'm right there
Um,
with you.
yeah. So yeah, of course this guy wins in the end, and that's pretty much the end. And they're talking over the ending. I don't understand what was going on. I don't know what was happening. I don't know what we saw at the end, the very, very end of the movie. Was
I
that a
think they
flashback?
purposely no. I think that was an open interpretation because
Okay.
it gave me Gladiator vibes.
Okay. I never saw that.
You never saw Gladiator?
No, I'm not a fan of that type of stuff. That 300, all that type of stuff. I
Oh,
don't really I
they're
don't really I
so
don't really
good.
get I don't really
Those
get
are
into
like
those
my
type of movies.
favorite movie.
No, I get bored with those type of movies, man. And when I start
What
and then
about
especially
Braveheart?
nope, I
Braveheart?
never saw
Oh
Braveheart either.
man,
No,
those
I
are good
don't like. I
movies,
really don't
man.
like old when they make old movies. Well, new movies, but they're supposed to be like a period movies. I really don't get into those movies. I don't. I
Really?
definitely don't like. I definitely don't like westerns, and I definitely don't like World War One movies. I don't get into like it's so like I didn't really. I don't really care for the first Captain America movie. It's okay, but it's a World War One movie, and it's or two. And the same thing with Wonder Woman. It's World War II. I just don't like those
The
old war
first Wonder
movies.
Woman was good. The second one was trash.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're
And they did
right.
the
But
same thing. Aquaman, first one was good. Second one was trash.
we're not going to even go off on a tangent about the DC DC world because I could definitely talk about that. But we don't have enough time to get into all of that. But I understand what you're saying.
Did you like the last Batman with Twilight dude, Robert Pattinson?
Yeah, I didn't mind it, man. It was okay. It's
It
it's
was
it was kind of
trash.
long. It was.
A
It's
lot of people are like,
sometimes.
oh, this is the first time they showed him being a detective.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into Robert. Patterson was not a good Batman to me.
I didn't like him as Bruce Wayne. I did
Yeah,
like the very, very first part when we first see Batman in that movie, when everyone they see they see the symbol in the sky, and they know he's coming somewhere, but all the criminals don't know where he's coming from. They don't know if he's in their area or he's somewhere else, so they kind of scared. And then he comes down that it's almost like a subway, and he comes down, and those guys try and attack him. He just beats the crap out. That was the
yeah,
most violent we've ever seen Batman in a movie, because he wasn't using gadgets. He
yeah.
was just using his fists, and he beat the crap out of those guys. And it kind of reminded me of this movie, the fight scenes in this movie, the Monkey Man, the ending of the movie, because it's
Yeah.
they're real brutal fight scenes at the end of this movie.
Oh yeah, very very brutal, especially with that knife fight.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think he could have done. I think he would have been better like a Batman Beyond type of character or something like that.
They're
I
always
think
doing
he's young
something
enough for
different.
that.
They're always doing something different with Batman.
They need to find something that works and do it because Ben Affleck, no. Patterson,
I liked him
no.
as Batman. I mean Bruce Wayne. I
Who,
liked him as
Affleck?
Bruce Wayne. I was
Affleck
against it
was
at
okay.
first. I was against it at
He was
first, like
okay.
everybody else. But then when I saw him in the character, I was like, yeah, I could see him as Bruce Wayne. But
Maybe.
they don't have any directions over there in DC. Now hopefully we'll see what happens. Now that they have who took over? I'm blanking on my man's name. Um
Uh,
Crap. The new guy. He's from Marvel.
Snyder?
No, he did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He was
Oh,
the let me look it
not
up.
Joss.
No, I know people are probably screaming
Oh,
at
I'm
us
sure
for
they
not
are.
knowing.
Who cares? Listen, man, I'm in my 40s. I got a lot of
James
things
Gunn.
on my.
James Gunn.
Oh yeah,
So
James Gunn. Okay.
yeah, so he's taking over DC and he's in control of the new DC. So we'll see how it goes. He's been with Marvel for a long time, so he knows how to
Couldn't
do
be worse.
storytelling.
Couldn't be
Yeah. So,
worse.
but anyway, what grade are we going to give this movie? What are you doing, Joe?
I really went back and forth because that could be pretty bad or pretty good, but I kind of found myself in the middle, so I'll just go C minus.
Yeah, you know what? I've been juggling back and forth between C minus and D, and I'm going to go with a D. I'm going to go with a D because it took too long for me to understand what I literally stopped the movie and looked to see when it started to explain what the hell we've been watching. Do you know how long it was? An hour.
How long?
An
Yeah,
hour into the movie before we you don't know any when you watch the movie, have your patience, because you will not understand what is going on until an hour into the movie. And I
I can
told
tell
you
you right
before.
now, the
Yeah.
people, the people who are going to get on me are going to say that I took it too seriously and we take this too serious. And I
Mhm,
understand that, but I have to look at this from all aspects.
mhm,
Okay. The people that like this movie are only looking at the action and they're not paying attention to the story. That's all I'm going to say.
mhm,
Because the
mhm.
story was, if you can explain it to me better than I watched it, please do. But there was a lot of missed opportunities in that storytelling. That's all I'm
You know
saying.
what? Real quick, I don't even. Did you really? Did we? I don't think we really did the synopsis enough justice. Real quick, go through the synopsis real quick and just let people know what they're in for with this movie.
Okay, so this is what they tell you for the synopsis. It says a young man ekes out a meager living in an underground fight club where night after night, wearing a gorilla mask, he's beaten bloody by more popular fighters for cash. After years of suppressed rage, he discovers a way to infiltrate the enclave of the city's sinister elite. As his childhood trauma boils over, his mysteriously scarred hand unleashed an explosive campaign of retribution to settle the score with the men who took everything from him. Okay, the scarred hand, what does that have to do with anything?
They just kept showing his hands in the movie, and he every
Yeah,
time somebody asked him about it, he always gave them a different answer as to what happened to his hands, and we don't find out about it
no.
until way later in the movie when we see a flashback and we finally find out what happened to his hand. But as far as why, that did not need to be part of the synopsis at all, because it made no difference to the movie. It had no purpose in the movie.
No,
We
it
just see
really
why.
didn't.
We just see how he got it. But you know what? Honestly, he probably would not have gotten the job with Queenie if his hands didn't look the way they looked. So I guess
True.
it could have been important. I guess. Anyway, do you think this would have been a movie that Angel enjoyed? I don't know. He might have, but I don't know.
Well, he might have been one that just said skip the story and enjoy the action.
He could have, but sometimes Angel does. If Angel is lost, he's not going to like a movie. And
True.
I definitely think that he probably would have been lost at the beginning of this, like we were. And like I told you before, man, if you're not explaining me and telling me exactly what's going on, my mind starts to wander, and I'm thinking about other stuff, and I'm trying to get back on track so I can understand the movie. But this kind of took me out of it. I don't know. All
I'm
right.
right there with you.
So what are we doing next? What did we decide?
I don't think we did decide anything yet.
Because I know that next week, Cobra Kai comes out on the 18th, and we're going to do that one on the 23rd. And I remember us talking about doing the Shanghai stuff, and I was like, I don't want to start those
Yeah, if you're
because
not into westerns and Owen Wilson, you're not gonna like it. You're not
I
gonna
don't
like
mind
it.
Owen. I don't mind Owen and some of the stuff he does with Western. I
Yeah,
don't. We can still watch those, but I want to do that after we do Cobra Kai because I just didn't
we
want to
can
break those.
we can do Kung Fu Panda 4 is on Peacock,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
let's do that.
Angel can rent it. It's on it's a lower rental now for Prime if it
Okay,
doesn't have
well
Peacock.
we'll let them know that then. That's what we'll do.
And that's
Kung Fu
actually
Panda.
that turned out for a number 4 of a movie. They actually did a good job. I saw it in
Okay,
theaters with the kids, so I enjoyed it.
cool. Well, that's it.
All
That's
right,
what we'll do. Kung Fu Panda 4. Any closing remarks, Joe?
no man, I'm good.
All right, cool. Everyone, stay safe, stay strong. We'll holler at you next week, and I will play our music.
Disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.